Please subscribe.
We are dismal to report that the 2020 Lincoln Aviator isn't the flying vehicle we've been guaranteed for the majority of a century. The Aviator is adhered to the Earth simply like you and me. Figuratively, however, this 4,900-pound cowhide and woodcut box has the wings to help lift Lincoln out of what a couple of brief years prior resembled an unrecoverable crash. There's an American mass to the Aviator's extents and enough width in the lodge that at any rate a couple of purchasers will accept they're driving the bigger Navigator. The 400-horsepower twin-turbo V6 is anxious to run hard. Similarly as significant, the Aviator has the vibes of a legitimate extravagance vehicle. That last factor denotes a major change over the Aviator's front drive-based forerunner, the plain and slouched MKT. The Aviator covers the MKT's old bones and moves to another design that turns the motor 90 degrees with the goal that torque presently streams to either the back wheels or every one of the four. Sharing this center componentry with the new Explorer, the Aviator is still especially a plated Ford. Critically, the obvious and unmistakable similitudes are not many and unimportant enough not to issue. The standard twin-turbo 3.0-liter V6 is an incredible piece of the Aviator's allure. Making 400 pull and 415 pounds-to-feet of torque, the base motor outguns the competition's much of the time by in excess of 50 steeds. The motor works quietly enough to be overlooked at cruising speeds. With a jab of the quickening agent, the V6 thunders to consideration and rockets the Aviator not far off. Passage's 10-speed programmed transmission keeps on improving with each new application, including this one. In the Aviator, the transmission picks equips decisively yet executes shifts with a delicate smoothness. Instead of a discretionary V8, Lincoln offers the blown V6 combined with an electric engine and a 13.6 kilowatt-hour lithium particle battery. The $69,895 module crossover model, known as the Aviator Grand Touring, makes 494 torque and 630 pounds-to-feet yet adds almost 800 pounds to the scales. Keenly, Lincoln conceals the heavy battery pack underneath the body, leaving the underfloor payload space and extra tire well flawless. Lincoln says the Grand Touring ought to be useful for around 18 miles of electric driving extent, however you're probably not going to encounter that across-the-board shot. Depending entirely on the 100-horsepower electric engine in pure EV mode moves the Grand Touring's 5,700 pounds at an agonizingly slow clip that extravagance purchasers won't endure. Rather, they'll drive the Grand Touring in one of the numerous modes that mix the two powertrains with the gas motor turning on and off every now and again. While you'll barely see the V6 refire, the Grand Touring's feeling of refinement is destroyed by a little however perceptible thud each time the driveline reconnects the gas motor. While the $52,195 base Aviator rides on steel loop springs and aloof dampers, most purchasers will wind up with an increasingly refined suspension. Beginning at $59,795, the mid-level reserve trim with all-wheel drive came standard with versatile dampers. The dynamic handling bundle matches those electronically controlled dampers with a camera that looks 50 feet not far off to unwind or fix the dampers dependent on the geography of the asphalt. That choice additionally includes variable proportion guiding and air springs with multiple creeps of movement between the departure and rough terrain positions. The Aviator helped its mass effortlessly through moving Napa vineyards on our drive with the pothole spotting, stature-modifying suspension. It remains pleasantly upstanding in corners and pursues the driver's goals steadfastly, despite the fact that exactness may include some major disadvantages. In the few spots where the asphalt took after sourdough hull, the body ricocheted and bobbled enough to make us wonder how the Aviator will ride back home on Michigan streets. The Aviator's hardware rundown is loaded down with driver help and availability includes similarly as you'd find in some other current extravagance vehicle. What separates the Lincoln is that the tech is simple and simple to utilize. The piano key rigging selector, a no contrivances touchscreen, physical atmosphere controls, and the capacity to utilize your telephone as a key make an extravagance involvement with no expectation to absorb information. Indulgent extravagances incorporate Lincoln's 30-way perfect position situates, a 28-speaker Revel Ultima sound framework, and the Megabucks Black Label watch treatment. Except if you spring for that last one, a few of the Aviator's inside materials closely resemble non-luxury toll. Behind the subsequent column, Lincoln favors payload room over traveler space. The daintily cushioned third line sits low to the floor and offers inadequate legroom. Sitting back there is scarcely more agreeable than hunching down on a sack of rice, and pressing between the C column and the second push chief's seat, standard on everything except the base model, is a test. In any case, there's a lot of room behind the third push for 4 children's knapsacks, sports sacks, to say the least. For anybody in the first or second pushes, the Aviator conveys a certifiable extravagance experience. It's tranquil when you need harmony and fast when you need speed. At the point when appropriately prepared, the Aviator will need your posterior while unpretentiously convincing your neighbors that business is great. And keeping in mind that we wish it could fly, this Lincoln won't apologize for its size. The Aviator is an appropriate extravagance vehicle worked in the American style.